Welcome back to the Break Room. It's me, Tommy B, and joining me today is Erik Voss. Now, the Break Room on YouTube is what we do for the people we really like. Anyone watching on Twitch, they mean nothing to us. They're basically garbage. But you watching on YouTube, you're the ones we love. Now, Erik, let's talk about the elephant in the room. And if you think that's a fat joke about me, it's not. Come on, look at this. I'm doing good. All right.
You are looking good, Tommy.
Thanks.
Look, I'm on the show today. I had already planned to be in LA. I normally live in San Francisco, so that's why I'm not usually on the show. And I was already going to be in town this week, and obviously timing has just worked out.
Yeah.
So that I'm here. But I just want to say, Tommy, at the start of the show, I'm so grateful and thankful that you were willing to come back and continue working with us. It's been a really, really tough week here at New Rockstars. And obviously, it's probably been not as tough for me as it's been for you and for MT and for Whitney and for Anna. And I've just felt so bad for you guys and what has happened to you guys. And I'm just really sorry that things went down the way they did.
Sure.
But I want to just ask you how you're doing, because it's been really hard for you this weekend.
I'm doing good. The four of us, we got some time to talk and hang out and kind of just laugh and be, upset and then laugh and be upset. It's a roller coaster, but at the end of the day, those three are very important friends to me. Many people here are also important friends to me. You're an important friend to me. And I think the reality is people don't know how businesses run. No, every business is run differently. My family owns a business. My father has been self-employed since I was a little kid. He used to fix vending machines. We got free candy. It was a great fucking scheme. Then he went all corporate and started his own business. Now, in that time, my dad has had to change people's positions at companies, lay off people that he loved. It's not a decision that comes easily, and it is unfortunate, and it's not ideal. It's never ideal to lose your health care. It's never ideal to lose benefits. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't happen, and I was as shocked as anyone on Friday, but what I asked for and what I think MT and Whitney and Anna, they have their own negotiations and are asking for if they desire to return, and that's all their business that I'm not going to discuss today because that's completely up to them, is we want to be, if our role has to change at the company, which it did to move forward, we wanted to feel valued. Mm-hmm. And ultimately through my discussions with the company and people who reached out, that's what happened. I felt valued, now I'm back. This is my case and my case alone. I will not speak for the other three because that's their thing to discuss. I'll defend them with my fists and guns and swords if I have to. I don't have guns. I'm not allowed to. Legally, if you're a felon, you can't possess a firearm. And I got that in the womb. A precog told my mom that I was going to be a felon, so I've been banned. Anyway, I'm rambling because I'm uncomfortable.
No,
my point is, I'm sorry, I'll let you keep going.
Yeah.
My point is, there's no right way to have layoffs happen, but they happen. And there is a path to continue working and creating with your friends. And I'm lucky now that I'm in position to do both. So I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be back with you. I'm glad to have Evan I think currently he's got one of those mace, those old-fashioned medieval times maces. He's swinging it menacingly around, telling me to wrap up. So.
Yeah, and Tommy, I really loved what you just said, and especially when it came to the other three. That's why there's been so much, I think, awkward silence on part of the company and on part of me over the weekend. I can't speak for everything that happens at the company, and I didn't want to step on any toes for what was happening with the four of you, because I know it was all still up in the air, and it still is up in the air for the other three right now. And I don't want to fuck any of that up, honestly, because I know everything I say and every engagement I do on social media is being monitored with way more laser focus than I ever could have imagined. And just so everyone, and you were just so generous just now, way more generous than we deserve. In how you spoke about how the company operates. All I can really say is that John mentioned this yesterday. My role at the company, at least since October of last year, I shifted to be executive producer of the deep dive. That has been my focus. I still produce videos for the main channel, but there's a lot of people that I report to, and it was a company decision. And it was made for a lot of reasons that I cannot get into, because it's not my role to discuss that. But I can only say that I fucking hate that it went down the way it did. And I'm not throwing anyone under the bus. And sometimes it's just companies do have to make difficult decisions. And I understand everyone was just trying to do what was right. But God damn it, I hated seeing you guys go through that.
Well, I appreciate that. The important thing is that we're looking out for each other. I mean, everybody who has a relationship and his friends, we're looking out for each other. And like, yeah, you know, this is not an ideal situation, but we're working on it. It's a work in progress. It's nebulous, and it's never as easy to explain as you think it is. If something seems a little too convenient, I'll just say that means it's probably just someone, you know, saying something out of their ass. So,
yeah.
Speaking of talking out of their ass, I'm back on the break room.
You're
guys.
back, baby.
I'm gonna do it every single day now. Contractually, they have to let me, and they said I could show a little ass too. I can do 1 full frontal and 2 back C's.
Whoa.
A year. So we're gonna save
a year. We can't.
We're gonna bank them.
Cash in on that more often.
Everything up here first, otherwise it's gonna be a nightmare. You don't want to see that.
Those don't roll over month to month.
Let's be honest. I think we can roll them over year to year. So if we do this for 5 years, we could really be naked a lot on the show.
I'll settle for that.
So
we're both bottomless right now.
That's
by the
right.
way.
Yeah. I mean, we're showing each other everything.
Mm-hmm. We're Donald Duck in it and Winnie the Pooh in it.
Yeah. And who's who? I'll never say. We're talking a little bit of Secret Invasion. Tastefully, don't panic. I'm not ready to hear you panic about it. And then we're going to do a tier list. So let's talk about the other elephant in the room.
Yeah, that elephant.
The strike. Now, I'm a proud member of SAG-AFTRA. I have acted in, 20 or so SAG-AFTRA films and TV shows over my illustrious, way too long career for that to be an impressive number. SAG-AFTRA has informed us that entertainment journalists like us we're allowed to cover movies and TV during the strike. We support SAG and WGA in their strike so that these artists, they get what they deserve. I truly believe that the fight that is being fought right now is one that if we don't deal with, there's no going back. Once the AI genie is truly out of the bottle and the norm becomes to paint background actors with AI mapped out over. I mean, they've already had that shittily for years. You can watch bad, no offense, Bob Iger, I know you're really going through it right now, Disney movies where the stands are just the same 100 people all throughout a professional.
Yeah.
Like, that has existed. But we're talking on your sitcoms, on your multicams, on your single cams, on your police procedurals. Anyone walking in the background is just a weird, uncanny valley AI rendering. And those are the people this strike is about. And then, I'll put it to myself. This strike is also about someone like me who I'm getting residuals for $14 that used to be $900. That difference is rent. That difference is a utility bill. That difference is groceries. Yeah. And for me, that difference is a pile of cocaine versus a chapstick lid of cocaine. Okay? So, moving back on
the chapstick's more potent, though. The pile, you're going to get some spillage.
Yeah, and it might be stepped on. And you know me, I only like that pearl. All right. We support SAG and the WGA, of course, and their strike, so that people can get what they deserve and can't be replaced by AI. We are not doing any future agreements with the studios to promote their releases the way influencers do, not until the strike is resolved or we get further guidance. So what we're talking about today is Secret Invasion. Okay, now I remember why we put that in. I just talked myself into a logic circle because I got fired up and frothy about the strike. We have been doing Secret Invasion since before the strike started. We are allowed to, according to an email from SAG to a journalist, we're allowed to react and we're allowed to analyze. Mm-hmm. We're not allowed to say, make sure you tune into Secret Invasion on whatever it's on Netflix. I don't know. I'm not going to promote it the correct way. I'm not some jabroni about to get fined. We don't say that. We can't say, this awesome sauce is unmissable. You better not miss it. Or I, for one, stake my reputation on episode 6. We can't say shit like that. So we're going to talk about Secret Invasion. We're going to analyze. We're going to ask some questions. And then we're going to get to the rankings that are a much safer space for us. Yeah. So we're secretly invading the show right now. Eric, let me ask you a question. What do you think Fury was calling at the end of the show?
I'm so glad we're talking about this because, we've been working hard on these Secret Invasion breakdowns. And I was up late last night with some of our writers working on this. And at 7 a.m. this morning, it was me and Gina Polito and Jordan Morris and Eric Francisco and our buddy Noah Chen was working late last night. And somehow this slipped through the fingers because I just took this for granted at first that Fury was just calling Gravik, saying, let's finish this. But I actually think there's more than meets the eye here, and that a little bit of Transformers, let them come.
Make them come.
Make them come. Don't let them not come. The question here is, was he perhaps calling Gaia? Because I think there was a little moment earlier in the episode where Gaia says to Fury, I'll put on a good face.
Yeah.
And I think that in the finale episode, you might see two Furies.
Oh.
Two Furies in that Skrullos base, or maybe just one of them. And we think that it's going to be Fury in that moment, but it's actually Gaia impersonating Nick Fury going to confront Gravik. So he might have said, let's finish this as a cue to her. All right, you're already there. Because he's so far from the Russian border. He's up in Finland. They were southwest of Moscow before, southeast of Moscow.
Those woods, though, they all look the same. And that's not Trieste.
They all look a bit like Georgia. But I think the thing is that they're going to find is she's already there. Vara dropped her off, and she's not worried about the radiation sickness because she's Skrull, and that she's already a bit of Super Skrull. She's got the extremis. I think she's going to have.
God, she does. My God, the greatest moment of television of my life is Emilia Clarke springing back to life. My sweet angel.
Yeah, second only to Jon Snow coming back to life.
Screw that.
Okay, no. Yeah, the show did steeply go downhill at that point.
That was the jump the shark was weirdly Jon Snow going.
Right, that was rough. Hey, season 6, rough season, but the season 6 finale,
whoa,
right back up there, and then season 7, shit apocalypse,
season 7,
all the way down.
And we're gonna make you wait 3.5 years to punish you.
Yeah, so I think he was arranging something either with Vara or with Gaia in that moment. If he wasn't just calling Gravik, I think it's possible he's calling Gravik just to kind of set him up to expect the harvest to come his way. But really, there's going to be some kind of bait and switch, and either it's not the exact Fury, or he's going to bait and switch that Felix Felici, whatever, that little vial. Can we talk about that vial?
Yeah.
What blood, what hemoglobin is just crystal clear like that?
I didn't understand that at all. Also, is there a chance that's not the harvest? Like, could that be some other thing that's like another super weapon or something like that? Because, like, how is it just this little?
It's just a little jar
bottle.
It's a jar of piss.
Yeah,
it's just he drank a lot of water that day.
That's why Gravik
inject this into your veins.
Gravik hates Fury because he made him collect piss from all the Avengers as part of a random drug testing. They're like, all right, sorry. Tony, you gotta piss into the cup. Why did they want Tony's? Tony doesn't
well, maybe it was
Thor piss in the cup. Tony, they're like, we gave you Tony Stark's DNA, and he just shrivels up and dies of radioactive poisoning.
Was that maybe like when they went to the battlefield? Realistically, he went there. He's like, okay, go do the harvest, and they go to this big acre of rubble that was Avengers Campus, and then they're like, wait, so how do we find blood? They're like, there's Cull Obsidian blood here. There's a bunch of Outrider bloods. There's Ravager bloods. There's Howard the Duck's blood. How do we know which blood is which? And they're like, there's a puddle of something over there. Where Rhodey took a big fat piss over there, so they scoop some of that up and put it in the
There
vial.
was a point where Hulk pissed his brains out over, and that's like, it's like a small lake. But I feel like whoever gets Howard the Duck's blood is so screwed.
Real short straw.
They
with
just
that
become
one.
really sarcastic and witty. All right, how do you think this show's gonna end?
Do we think Fury's gonna die? That's really the question, because that's what they were setting up at the end of episode 5. Right. They read that New Testament, John 13:15. I don't know which, 15:13, whatever. It's all the same, really, in the book of John. And I say that not to be a Bible burner. I say that because the book of John, as you Bible nerds know, is the most poetic of the 4 Gospels. Yeah. That guy was just dropping poetry left and right. He was really the John Lennon who wrote that
Bed of
gospel.
Rose. Oh, I was thinking Bon Jovi.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. But that was that's why it's all just kind of flowery language is why I made that joke. But
I liked it. As a Catholic, I can't laugh.
I'm Catholic too. But yeah, I think you're right. That's a good excuse to not laugh at it.
You know, the stone that was rejected by the builder has become the cornerstone, and that was St. Peter, I believe. Or was that St. Paul? I can't remember. Which one was in the Beatles? Which one got his head cut off?
Both.
Okay.
God, both.
Great.
But I do think it's going to end with Gravik. I think Gravik's kaput at the end of the show. But I don't think the Skrull threat is kaput. In fact, I actually hope that Scrody, a.k.a. This is tough. So there's a Rava and there's a Vara.
Yeah.
And they tell you in screenwriting books Do not
Yes.
confuse names
Yes.
like that.
Yeah.
I know Game of Thrones broke that rule. George R. R. Martin broke that rule all the time, but he's not a screenwriter. He was a novelist. But man, come on, writers of Secret Invasion. Like you didn't. Rava is a name that exists, and Vara is a name, but you didn't have to make Rhodey's scroll name Rava.
Right,
you could have picked it. You could have called her Varanki.
Yeah.
That would have been more exciting. Anyway, I think that scroll is going to be the final scroll standing who's still a threat. And I kind of hope that's still there. But do we think Rhodey gets awakened? Like the real Rhodey wakes up in the fracking pot?
I mean, how? Otherwise, when do they get awakened? Because it would they. Don Cheadle uses they them pronouns in this universe. No, when does he get awakened? Because he has to be ready for Armor Wars, right? So my thought is, so here's like ostensibly, the Marvels could be like the opening thing of the Marvels could be like 5 months before the Secret Invasion or something like that. And then that's why you justify Fury back up on Saber or wherever he is in the trailer where Amon Villani switches places with Photon.
Yes.
Right? Or that scene could not be in the movie. You know, that could it could also just be a misdirect. Although we did have a toy leak that I hate. No, we don't like to do leaks. That strongly implied some people are in the movie. I just don't see Fury dying in this.
I hope he does it. I don't want Fury to ever die. I only want him to have fake deaths and more fake gravestones. I hope he survives. I think Gravik needs to die only by the virtue of the fact that his plans have been so bad on this show. I think Kingsley Ben-Adir is a really good actor. If you don't believe me, watch Barbie this weekend. Or don't, because we're not paid to promote it. I'm just saying, if you do watch the movie, you'll see Kingsley Ben-Adir has quite some range, as does everyone in that movie. I didn't think Ryan Gosling, Margot Robbie, I didn't think Simu Liu could do all these things. They're so good. These actors are so good. But Kingsley Ben-Adir in this show has been done dirty by some of the writing for the character of Gravik, and his plans are so short-sighted and stupid. The fact that he kills his lieutenant, doesn't need to kill him, but I guess
multiple people that are important to his operation. It seems like what they're going to do, sorry to cut you off, is that they're going to, it feels to me like they're going to imply that he super scrolled himself. Because he seems like he's become more reckless in the last few episodes. Like, even getting caught unawares by the other Skrulls when they put the bag over his head and were fighting with him. I'm like, this feels like something he'd be 10 steps ahead of. Like, he never let anyone lay a finger on him.
Especially if he got Groot arms. You know, Groot can extend in all different directions.
I mean, I guess maybe that was supposed to be like he doesn't want to kill all of those Skrulls, like, unless he has to. Like, but like, I don't know. The way it felt like the death of Pagan was kind of reckless and impulsive.
Beto. He killed Xerxu. Remember Xerxu, that old one who drove the car and gave
not Xerxu.
So the submarine trio.
Who am I going to jerk to if Xerxu's gone? Guys, come on.
What's the virtue, Xerxu?
We gotta keep, the brand has to remain strong, okay? I'm not coming back to a sinking ship.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
All right.
But he is getting real reckless, and I think we might get a situation where he accidentally morphs into the wrong Super Skrull power. He's like, he's trying to boil a pot of water and accidentally turns into a frost beast and it freezes. Or he's trying to catch, he's falling, and rather than morphing into Groot to catch some loose limb, instead what he does is he turns into Obsidian and just falls faster due to his weight. Something's gonna happen. It's gonna be like that episode of Batman Beyond where the guy gets like the steroid patches, you know, and then Batman just starts putting too many on him, and then he just starts. I think that's gonna happen too.
I think that's what happened to Barry Bonds. And B, I think that's what. That's
worth it.
So I say we do see human Rhodey. You say. No Rhodey? Rhodey, no Rhodey?
I say no Rhodey for now.
Okay.
No Rhodey for now.
So on that, we disagree. Now, one thing we can agree on is it's Secret Invasion season. And we're not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing. And the easiest way to let people know you're not a Skrull or make them think you're not a Skrull is to pick up some merch from Nerd Riot's new Secret Invasion collection. Because let's be honest, you don't have to support the studios, but you need to support this studio. Because I just got back, and I can't have them make another excuse to let me go. You can also shop our full line of designs inspired by Across the Spider-Verse and Guardians of the Galaxy, and keep a cool eye out. Keep an eye out, I can read, for a very cool Barbie Oppenheimer combo shirt that's officially the best thing to wear on your torso in July. I have to agree with that. I used to have a USA Star Wars combo shirt that I'd wear on the 4th of July every year. It was a combo tank top, red, white, and blue. It said Star Wars on it. Didn't make any sense. I didn't see Star Wars as an inherently American film, but it made me feel American. Anyway, shopping at Nerd Riot is one of the best ways to support our channel, so do so. Join that riot, pick up some bricks, light some Molotov cocktails, buy out all the tiki torches at your local Home Depot, and join the riot over at nerdriot.shop. Speaking of riots, you know what's more fun than riding a stupid bike with pedals and no battery? E-biking, Eric. It's a fun new form of transportation that's a perfect match for a fun new YouTube channel, The Breakroom. Our friends at Hovsco make the best e-bikes. Don't ask me. Ask my friends that can't stop riding Hovsco. A Hovsco e-bike can go up to 28 miles an hour, which man should not do on a bike, with pedal assist with a range of up to 60 miles without ever needing to pump your legs. Do you know what that means for a guy like me? I can get a girlfriend who likes biking now without having to break up with her over this stupid exercise. We have 2 Hovsco e-bikes at the new Rockstars office, and god dang it, we love them. We're doing a special promotion with Hovsco that will let one lucky viewer win a Hovsco e-bike for free. All you have to do is support our Breakroom channel. You want to do that anyway because it's got great daily content, finally again, including Inside Marvel, reactions, after shows, and breaking news. Like this. I'm 35 minutes into an episode with no cramping, guys. Breaking news. What? We're doing better medically. Follow the link in the description below to get started. Sign up for Hovsco's giveaway. Then subscribe to the Breakroom on YouTube or Twitch. I don't care which one you do. You know YouTube. You guys are my favorite. Twitch, PU. The link in the description below has all the details you need on how to maximize your chance of winning a Hovsco e-bike. And if you're already following the Breakroom, follow us here. And there's other ways to win. Make sure you click on the feature so you get extra entries for this bike. Or Venmo me $1,500 and I'll steal this bike for you. Meet me out back. We're in Manitoba. Do it before July 23rd so you don't miss out. Now, Evan, do you have some questions for us?
Yes.
Let them come.
Make them come.
Kenna Dolls is asking, do you
Pleasure,
think
man.
Ritson, the current president, heard Fury? Which also was a weird scene in the beginning when he was like, don't trust Rhodey, don't trust
That,
Rhodey.
to me, was like, what is going on with Nick
Yeah.
Fury? Like, do you think, did he put something in him?
What do you
Did
mean?
he put a little earworm in him? It's gonna be like he's just repeating that
Just
message?
recording
Like,
it?
Don't trust Rhodey.
I think
Don't
he's trying to
trust
affect his dreams, but we know Ritson, at least one layer down, it just heard it real slow.
Yes.
Like, don't try. And, he was too busy skiing.
And going, riding, walking up and down the hallways. Like,
Or looking in a mirror and he's Dylan McDermott.
yes. Or Dougray Scott from Mission Impossible 2.
Yeah, I don't think he heard him. I think Ritson, as written in the show, is a bit of a dummy.
I think he's a
and
big
super
old-
gullible.
Yeah.
But hey, if the face of an Avenger is telling you something, you better believe it. So yeah, I don't think he heard him, and I don't think he was really paying that much attention when he was sitting in that hospital room with way too many exposed windows.
Yeah.
If you're worried about security, keep the shades shut,
Yeah.
please.
Keep those blinds drawn.
Both if you're Nick Fury's wife.
Yeah.
Talking about how secure
Everybody.
your location is, but you have the biggest freaking windows. I guess it didn't hurt the snipe. Like the sniper still miffed. It was like Fat Tony on The Simpsons,
Yes.
who keeps trying to kill Krusty, the
Yes.
Homer clown, and he's like, "Oh, we only brought the 1 box of bullets." Sort of.
I get so stressed out in scenes where you know there's going to be a gunshot eventually, like where you know there's a gun trained on someone. The entire scene, I was just like, oh God, just shoot. Come on, just fire the gun. All right, what else you got for us, Evan?
A lot of people asking questions about the harvest and DNA. 2 questions that jumped out to me.
The father says it'll be a strong harvest this year. He says the trees are showing blossoms that seem good for apple growth. Hank is harvesting some sauce right now off screen. Yeah, I think, what was the question, Evan? I'm sorry, I cut you off.
So 2 questions that stuck out to me were someone suggested it. Floppy Tonsil 69 was wondering if it would be Wanda's blood in that vial. Beware the Dreads wondering if there could be any dormant celestial genes from Star-Lord in there.
Oh.
It does.
Feel free to respond to that, or also let us know what you think like is the most dangerous blood they could get.
That's a great Floppy Tonsil 69. Thank you for finally asking a good question on this show. I've been saying, when will Floppy Tonsil 69 weigh in? And there you did it. That's a great thought that is just one Avenger or Marvel hero's DNA. Like that is just one.
I think it is, because if you mix them all together, it just gets,
Yeah, we've
it's
Eric, in our
contaminated.
laboratory back in the day, we mixed a lot of DNA together, and all that happened was the FBI came in and grabbed our computers.
Well, and Kelly's pissed because she has
she had to
no
watch.
idea. Yeah. But the thing is I definitely think it's Carol Danvers, because I think that was I don't think the writing of this scene was very good, because I think they should have clearly specified that this is Carol Danvers' blood, and instead he just said like many Avengers' blood were harvested, Carol Danvers, even Carol Danvers. But I think the implication is this is one irradiated blood, and Carol Danvers, to answer the question of why it's clear, maybe it's just because they're keeping the DNA in a special solution because it's irradiated by a light speed engine, and that's how she has her powers. You mentioned Wanda, though. One of you asking the question. Wanda is an interesting
Tonsil
case.
floppy 69.
Tonsil floppies.
Please put some respect on floppy tonsil.
Excuse
69.
me, tonsil floppy 69. I think Wanda Maximoff is in a unique case where she wasn't just had her blood irradiated by the Mind Stone, she was cursed by Cthon as a baby, and that's why she was prophesized to be the Scarlet Witch and the Darkhold. I think as a child, even when that bombshell went through her Sokovian apartment, was able to cast a low-level probability hex, and I think that came from somewhere. That somewhere was Cthon, is my interpretation of that. So I don't think that curse affects her blood once it leaves her body. I think it just stays with her spiritual essence in her living form, or in her soul, wherever it goes. So yeah, I don't think her blood would be able to possess that curse.
Pietro really got hosed.
He really did.
Wow, he got hosed.
Yeah, he did.
Let's begin. The important work we're doing here today. We're gonna do a tier list, guys, and this isn't just any tier list. We're gonna make a tier list of the most important films of Christopher Nolan, and also the most important films about dolls. And these are not just friendly dolls. These are evil, nefarious dolls. We're gonna put them on Tier Maker. We're gonna cause some tears.
We got some plastics, and we got some ass ticks.
Ass kicks.
Because there's a lot of ass in Nolan movies, and there's a lot of tick, 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 tick sound effects, because he loves time.
That's true. I love that. Okay, so
You're better at the puns than I am.
you did
this
a
is
great
why we
job.
need you back.
Ass ticks. Coraline. I'm giving Coraline an A. I like Coraline.
Yeah, Coraline's up at the top of the doll. Well, we're putting them on the same list. Is that
Some
correct?
can be. These are just putting them in tiers. I think Coraline is an A tier.
Yeah, Coraline's an
doll movie.
I think Coraline's an S tier.
You think it's an S tier?
I
like
think Coraline's an amazing film.
I'm willing to go with that. I actually love Coraline. That movie. I like that movie so much. I lost my physical copy of it, and I sought out a new. I'm now a 2-time physical copy owner of the movie Coraline. For no, I don't even have a thing that plays it.
I think we got to put Toy Story on the S tier, right? That might be the best of these movies.
We're gonna have to start getting harder, though, guys. I mean, phrasing, but
okay. All right. Okay. So, is there any categories for what makes the difference between an S and an A?
I mean, we could argue with smooth-brained YouTube and Twitch fans, but I would say.
But let's move Coraline back to A, because Toy Story is better than Coraline.
I do think
by a
I think
wide
so.
margin. Yeah.
All right, now let's talk about the uncomfortable reality that The Boy is a category above S, but I think unfortunately for our purposes,
How do we fit it
we'll
in?
put The Boy down to D.
Yeah, I think The Boy might be
The
D.
Boy is not very good, but Brahms' The Boy Part 2, a far better movie. Katie Holmes is in it.
Oh, okay.
Heard of her?
Are we allowed to disagree, or do we have to come to a consensus? I don't know
No,
the
we can
rules.
disagree, but
Okay.
usually if we disagree, we split the difference unless someone feels really
I see.
passionately, or if Hector ruins the integrity of the ranking, then I'm forced to rank things. I have to then weigh his poor choices with my correct choices by punishing his other choices.
Got it. Okay. This is what Kinda Funny does in their in reviews segment. If you ever watch Kinda Funny, great channel. They really, it just gets so petty over there, and then people just like bottom out.
That's what happens
just
here,
to
too.
offset
That's
it.
exactly
And I love
what
that.
happens.
I love that. That's the nature of the game.
It gets completely unloaded. Now I'm gonna throw another easy one up there. I'm gonna clean out the classics. Dark Knight is an S tier.
Dark Knight's S tier for sure. And I think Interstellar, I actually prefer Interstellar to The Dark Knight now. So for me, Interstellar's S tier.
I have my experience watching Interstellar was one of my favorite movie experiences of all time. I saw it a couple weeks after it came out. I went and saw it at IMAX at Universal Studios Hollywood Walk, or what is it? Is that what it's called?
Hollywood Walk of Fame or City Walk?
City Walk. Universal Studios City Walk. Thank you. And I saw it in IMAX. I saw it at 11 o'clock at night, and I was the only person in the theater with that giant, crazy, was it Hans Zimmer score? Like, and the sound.
The organ.
The IMAX, the organ.
The docking sequence.
I was destroyed after that movie. I mean, so emotionally manipulated by visuals and sound. The point of a movie, it was bonkers.
Were you in the front row? Were you like the one guy who bought the ticket to Oppenheimer?
Yeah, I saw that. I was not the Oppenheimer psycho. I sat dead center. I think I didn't even buy a dead center ticket because I was this weird Irish Catholic in me that's like, I better make way for anyone who really needs to see it. But I eventually, no one was there, so I moved into the center. It was one of my favorite movie watching experiences ever. All that to say, S tier for me as well. I'm going to say something. I don't want anyone to get mad at me. Dark Knight Rises, that's got to be a B or C.
Yeah. Let's Dark Knight Rises, I think, is a B, a solid B. I think it's Dark Knight Rises is better than Batman Begins.
Really?
I think Batman Begins is a little overrated.
Okay.
I think it's a little sloppy. I think the image, like Nolan's still finding his footing on what kind of movie he wants to make. I mean, Dark Knight crystallizes into one of the best films of all time. Yeah. And then Dark Knight Rises, I think, just doesn't really hold up. But I think Dark Knight Rises is slightly better than but yeah, I agree with you. And then how do we feel about Inception? Because Inception is one of these movies for me. I just re-broke it down for a deep dive. I think it's aged like milk a little bit.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think Inception I think it's a crazy ambitious film, but I think Inception's also a B.
I have not rewatched Inception in its entirety since the first time I watched it.
That says something. I think that says something.
Yeah, I'm good for that. I'm good with that. I think I saw it twice in theaters, to be fair, because usually if I see something twice in theaters, it takes a long time, unless we're working on it, for it to make its way back into my rotation, because I'm so curious and interesting that I can't narrow my scope like that. Sure. I'm simply just not like other guys.
Should we go back to some toy movies?
Yeah, let's go. Small Soldiers. S. No, I'm just kidding. I do love Small Soldiers.
Yeah, I like Small Soldiers.
But I think Small Soldiers for me, if we're gonna have to be hard on some of these movies, it's either a B or a C. I think it's a good movie. Yeah. Phil Hartman, classic. We had a great Tommy Lee Jones voice performance. I like Small Soldiers.
What is wind?
Archer, emissary of the Gorgonites.
I put Small Soldiers at a C.
Okay, I'm good with that.
But if you feel strongly about it, I can round up to a B.
I can do it. I can do that. Is that Annabelle down there? Won't watch Annabelle movies. Too scary.
Scary? I think Annabelle's at a B. I liked Annabelle. I liked Annabelle better as like just a little weird franchise building wink in The Conjuring.
Well, she's cute as a button.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay.
What about Megan?
Megan, didn't see it. Sorry. Don't come for me. Guys, I'm so busy. And I'm just not like other guys.
Please say that 4 more times because it's so true.
I guess I just don't use a bank account. I don't know. I'm not like other guys. Sometimes I'll just look at a bird and think, I wish I could fly. I know that's not what guys say. All right. Megan can be whatever you want it to be.
I put Megan at a C. Okay. I think Megan had some really great stuff going for it, but I just think I can't put Megan on the same tier as we're only comparing toys movies to toys movies. Like obviously Dark Knight Rises and Inception are way better movies than Annabelle, I would say. And I don't think Coraline is a better movie than Dark Knight Rises or Inception.
I disagree.
You disagree?
I disagree.
I think Coraline's really, really good and beautifully animated.
I also think we got to play it as it lies here. There's different.
Okay, this list is insane. It makes no sense.
It's not insane. It's correct. Tenet D.
Listen, no.
Tenet D. And if it was an E, I'd give it. Let me tell you about Tenet.
Oh my God.
I watched Tenet at home the way Christopher intended on a tiny TV with my mom, and we had to watch Interstellar afterwards because I had to prove to her what Christopher Nolan was capable of.
Oh, wow.
Because we so both strongly, viscerally disliked Tenet. And we also watched an Eric Voss explanation of Tenet to try and figure it out. And even you explaining it, I was like, I think this movie is beyond me.
You know,
and I'm not like other guys, so I'm not just gonna sit here and pretend I understand what happened in it.
That video, I have to credit John Costa and Josh Hurd for actually making that video make sense, because I sketched something out on graph paper, but they put so much work into like making that video the success it is. I have to go back and watch their animation at least twice a year to remember what that movie was and how it made sense, because they did a great job like making it make sense. But that movie, I think about it constantly though. I think about Bjornsson's music all the time. I do think about it constantly. So I don't know if that's just like Nolan is able to make these movies that are still not that great, but they can stay with you. Yeah. I can't argue with you. Yeah, no, I think that's bottom tier Nolan.
Listen, if it means a lot to you, we can move it up to a C, but no higher.
But it's not Nolan's worst. Do we think Insomnia might be Nolan's worst? Still a good movie.
Still a good movie.
But Nolan's worst.
Great cast.
Great cast. You got Robin Williams. You got Pacino.
You got Martin Donovan, my dear friend from my first job I ever worked. He had a 2-day role in The Alphabet Killer. Shout out Alphabet Killer. Come on.
Yeah.
Google it. You're going to have to.
I think Insomnia has to go at a D tier Nolan. Yeah. That's just my take. But hey, still a good movie.
You know what? It might be called Insomnia, but it put me to sleep. Now.
We aren't. Nolan's Following, though. How do we feel about that? I mean, a lot of people ask us, you should go look at Following. I have not seen Following.
I have also not seen Following. I must.
Am I truly a Nolan fanboy?
What is Following a documentary?
It's like his first features, his directorial theatrical debut.
I'm not watching his crap. I'm not gonna watch the genesis of a creator. I'm gonna watch the apex.
It's like Nolan's Duel, right? Or Nolan's Sugarland Express a little bit.
What's those weird movies Steven Spielberg made in the back of his house?
When he was a kid?
Yeah.
Fablemans, technically, it seems like Spielberg made that in the back of his metaphorical house.
I was told The Following was made by Christopher Nolan when he was 11. Is that true? Can we fact check that?
Yeah.
We don't have to rank it.
I can't rank it. I haven't seen it.
Okay.
Sure, it's great.
But rounding out the list here, I think Memento belongs in an A. I don't think it's like S-class Nolan, but I think Memento is up there. I think Dunkirk belongs as an A too. I think Dunkirk is incredible.
Dunkirk, another great experience. I hate to keep name-checking my mom, but she did give birth to me. Watched Dunkirk with my mom during Christmas, because I think it was weirdly a Christmas movie, was it not? Or so it was around some holiday, and we both were like... I mean, it's not a long movie, right? It's like under 2 hours.
Dunkirk is the shortest one. It's only it's only 90 minutes.
I remember my hands were clenched on.
Oh yeah.
It's the reason why I'm excited for Oppenheimer.
Yes.
Because it's another movie where if you like have any curiosity about history or even have taken like an American history or not American history, a world history class that goes into World War II, you know how it ends.
Yes.
You know how it ends, and it's still. You're digging your nails into the sea.
Yeah, you forget. And I think
eating popcorn like this.
That's the strength of a great historical epic film, is that it makes you forget the history that you know and only see these events in real time through the eyes of the character. Yeah. And that's what Dunkirk does.
So that one's a pretty high tier for me. Batman Begins.
Batman Begins, I think, is B. I think it's roughly the same as Dark Knight Rises and Inception. Good films, all three of these movies.
I actually think the Dark Knight pushes the other two down. Like it's almost like the superiority of the Dark Knight in contrast with the other two makes you. I'm with you. I'm with that ranking. I'm saying, but I almost feel like if the Dark Knight had been a more of an A, we'd be like they're all kind of A's. You know what I mean? But instead, it's like you get just this.
But just the Dark Knight is so good, it cannot be in the same category as the other two.
Plus, Heath Ledger skateboarded around set as the Joker. I mean, just imagine. The fear, as Christopher Nolan said, that like this guy's going to take a header on a fire hydrant in Chicago or wherever they filmed it. Anyway,
I think Prestige is A. I think Prestige is up there with Memento and Dunkirk as like among Nolan's top tier, just not like top tier.
I'm surprised because I'm glad that you're saying that. I'm a very generous film critic. I'm really not good at deriding movies that I don't like. I usually just find a thing that I enjoyed about them. I very much enjoyed The Prestige. I think it's a well-regarded film, but I remember it not coming out. Maybe it was because it came out around the time of Dark Knight. Was it like a year before or a year after, maybe? I don't know.
Prestige came out right after The Dark Knight. Right. Or no, Prestige came out right after Batman Begins.
Right after Batman
Begins, 2005, Prestige 2006 or 2007.
I think maybe if I'm recalling, because this is before I was doing any of this professionally, so I was just watching these movies as as just a pure fan. I feel like it was like riding off of the high of Batman Begins for me. I was like, this is great. And then the reviews for the Prestige weren't as good for whatever
They were
reason.
kind of mixed. I don't know. I didn't read all the reviews
I
back
loved
then.
it though.
I just read
all that to say,
Yeah.
you have David Bowie as Nikola Tesla. Come on.
It's incredible. Yeah, Prestige is so good. It's almost a perfect film. It just doesn't do everything.
And
correct.
then the piece de resistance, Chucky.
The first Child's
Play.
I'm not a big fan of the Child's Play franchise personally.
I
think the first one is the best.
Yeah, I'll say this. I had a My Buddy as a kid, and my friend Zach Hall had a My Buddy when he was a kid. And he used to put his My Buddy under his bed facing me, so when I slept over at his house on the floor, the My Buddy would be looking at me like Chucky, and I never appreciated that. So because of that, it's not even the creators of the Child's Play franchise. It's my friend Zach Hall that is causing me to rate this a D for Demonic Doll.
Wow. Okay, I was going to give it a B or a C, but I'll defer to you on that one.
It's a D for drama and trauma.
Great.
And the following we're giving an NA, non-applicable.
Non-rankable. New Rockstars.
All right, so that is it. That's the definitive tier maker for dolls and for guys and dolls, because there's a lot of male characters in Christopher Nolan movies, but there's female characters too. He's working on it. Hathaway, Interstellar. Come on. Florence Pugh, I'm told, has some pretty provocative scenes in Oppenheimer. That's not the only reason I'm going. Okay? I'm not like other guys. I'm not like other guys. That's it for us today. Do we have... okay, great. That's it for us today. Make sure you give us a follow here on Twitch and subscribe on the Breakroom channel on YouTube. And remember, if you're watching on Twitch, you're the only ones we care about. And if you're watching on YouTube, you're the only ones we care about.
And Tommy, you'll come back for Ahsoka, right? If SAG-AFTRA gives the green light.
If we can come back, I've been telling people on Twitter, it would be my great pleasure to get all my Wookiee freaks back in line and do my favorite show to do at this company, Wookiee Leaks, okay?
Here on the
Nothing like it. Wookiee Leaks on the Breakroom. Come on, pay the actors, pay the writers. Let me break out my dual lightsabers. And let me go to work on this show, okay? Catch the Breakroom on YouTube and Twitch. And you can watch cutdowns and replays on YouTube of all of our streams, as well as exclusive content and celebrity interviews. I don't want to tease too much, but I hear we've got a little celebrity interview possibly coming out today or tomorrow. That was, of course, recorded pre-strike. All of our content, we're going to make sure we put up notifications. Anything that comes out that is an interview with an actor or a writer that comes out during the labor stoppage, I can assure you, because I was working many, many days in a row, those were all recorded pre-strike. Okay, so they're coming out now because their projects are coming out. But the actors did not cross any picket lines. I cannot be more clear about that.
Yeah.
As a habitual line crosser who's not like other guys, I will not put the actors on blast. All right, Eric.
Tommy.
Great to be back. God.
So glad you're back.
Feels like I was gone for ages. Really just a long weekend. All right. See you later. Goodbye. Keep it Gucci to Moochie. Get out of here. I said go.